In this episode, we will talk about China's new military base near Australia and Chinese spying on UK's nuclear weapons. These are the images from Solomon Islands. The citizens are angry and they are protesting because of increasing Chinese influence over their land. The citizens of Solomon Islands have learned from the mistakes of Sri Lanka and African countries as they do not want their country to get trapped in the debt trap by China. This unrest broke out in the capital of Solomon Islands. The protesters specially targeted the city's Chinatown and tried to storm the president's palace. The Solomon Islands and China have signed an agreement, and a draft that was leaked last month suggested the agreement could allow Chinese naval warships to station in Solomon Islands, as well as armed Chinese police can be deployed to help maintain social order. And the next fact will make you understand the seriousness of this news. Australian newspaper reported last month that Australian intelligence agencies played a role in leaking the draft of the agreement online. This is how concerned Australia is. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison is getting a lot of criticism in his own country, with the opposition Labour Party calling it the most significant foreign policy failure in the Pacific since the World War II. Right now, Australia's worst fears are becoming reality. According to a document, China has been planning a military base off the coast of Australia for years. China is also looking for a naval base of operations for the next 75 years. Beijing handed over about $730 million to Solomon Islands after the diplomatic agreement was made. And we have another major development that has China on it, and UK is the next target. The report says 18 Chinese drones flew over British nuclear installations in the past 2 years. Chinese agents are using drones to spy on British nuclear bases. The source from MI6 said that China is looking to steal UK's most sensitive secrets. The locations where the Chinese drones were spotted are highly secretive. But according to a leak, one of the sites was the nuclear subbase in Faslane, Scotland. It is the home of Trident submarines and nuclear weapons. And the second location that was targeted was the atomic weapons establishment in Berks, where nuclear warheads are made. The matter is so serious now that Chinese spying in the UK is MI6's top priority. A source from MI6 said China is intent to stealing British secrets. There is a network of Chinese spies in the UK and they will use any means necessary to steal classified information. Now we will learn about the concept called indivisible security, and this word has been in the news because it is behind the major conflicts. The term indivisible security is quite recognizable to anyone who studies geopolitics, but for those of my viewers who do not know what it means, let me explain. It means security should be seen as a collective concept, so if the actions of one state threaten the security of another, the principle of indivisible security is breached. Therefore, no state should strengthen its security at the expense of another. And we can take up an example to understand it. In Russia's eyes, indivisible security lies at the heart of Ukraine's crisis. Because Russia thinks NATO's expansion threatens Russian security, Russia wants NATO to leave Central and Eastern Europe. And the concept of indivisible security can also be applied to the current Chinese expansion near Australia and New Zealand. Even the New Zealand Prime Minister has shown disappointment in China's recent moves. And when we are talking about China and its army expansion, we have to discuss the military budget. A report released by the Swedish think tank SIPRI said China's military budget of $293 billion in 2021 is an increase of 72% from 2012. China is the second largest defense spender in the world after US. China spends more on defense than India, Australia, Japan and South Korea combined. And recently, in a very interesting development, we have Xi Jinping calling for Asian unity against outsiders. Xi wants Asian countries to reunite. The Chinese president wants indivisible security to be followed, but the root of the issue is China itself doesn't follow the principle of indivisible security.